Happy podcast day, Falcon Paladin.
Hello and happy podcast day.
Happy podcast day. I am looking forward to having some time off work.
I mean, yes, time off work is generally considered the best.
I worked 2 days last week, and I'm only working 2 days this week, and I've got the second day is tomorrow, and I don't want to do it. I feel like I shouldn't complain about having to go to work at the moment. I just realized it's probably somewhat intactful.
You know what? I'm still on severance. I'm still good. I'm not at panic stages yet, so don't worry about it, honestly. I'm good.
Excellent. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Ugh.
My oldest was like, why don't you just get a job at McDonald's? And I'm like, because I can't pay the mortgage and what McDonald's would pay me.
Just pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I hear McDonald's in California is going to be paying like 25 minimum wage. You could work there. Just move to California. That's cheaper, right?
Right. Yeah, then the cost of living would like double, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have to buy a house out there.
Oh. Yeah. No.
No.
You just gotta search for the smallest town that still has a McDonald's. Because the smallest town will have the cheapest houses to buy.
That's and there are a ton of small towns in California, man. Holy smokes. That's the thing with doing like statewide or nationwide minimum wages is like the cost of living varies so wildly from place to place. It's like 20, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I don't know how much the cost of living would be in a smaller town like Barstow. I mean, obviously compared to Los Angeles or San Francisco, obviously it's cheaper, but how much cheaper? I don't know.
Right.
What is McDonald's paying here? Let's see. Restaurant jobs. I want to be a crew member in this zip code. Yeah, that one. What does it pay? Apply now. Accept cookies.
Oh, you get cookies with payment? Wow.
Yes.
That's what that means.
Search for the dollar sign. $12 to $18 an hour.
What's that in
But
a real
$3,000 per year for educational tuition assistance.
Oh.
I could go back to school, Somicron.
You could, yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Australia pays its crew members $24.40 an hour.
Right?
Yep.
The cost of living is higher than it is here. We've had a discussion about especially that home prices are ridiculous in Sydney.
Yeah, but
yeah.
That's what they pay nationally.
Right. So same thing. There's like some small dirt farm town out in I'm gonna say oh crap, I was gonna say Prim, but I think that's a California thing. My brain is in California.
I don't think I've heard of a Prim, Australia.
No.
It might
if you search Prim Australia, it's like the Prime Minister of Australia. There's a provincial road improvement and maintenance organization.
Okay.
That's totally what I meant. Australia, smallest town. Cooladi.
Okay. Yeah.
It is a rural town in the Shire of Murwa, Queensland. About 88.9 kilometers southwest of Charleville. Do you know what Charleville is?
No, it's too small.
No. In 2015, Cooladi had a population of 3, all of whom lived at the general store.
Is it really a store if you all live and own it? Assuming they own it.
It used to be a thriving railway town, but then the rail connection was closed. So that's why it exists at all. And their nearby attractions are a creek that you can fish at. I'm going to look for houses in Cooladi.
There will be nothing. If the only people who living there live in the general store and not their own home, I'm willing to bet they don't have homes there.
34 properties for sale in Cooladi.
Bullshit.
Here's the link.
I'm looking it up.
Realestate.au. Here. Twitch can have it as well.
Some of these
45.
empty.
That's just land.
This is land. You gotta get rid
This
of the
is
ones
a
that just
mobile
land.
home. Land, mobile home. Yep. Not too surprised by the results here. How much is a mobile home? $430,000.
That's clearly Charlesville. I'll have you know.
It is in Charleville. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, that is a mobile home if ever I have seen one.
Uh-huh.
$400,000.
Australian.
Okay, right. So
250. 300.
300 American, you would say?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I've got it open. I can look.
God, that's still absolutely
about 300,000.
insane.
Yeah, but it's a very lovely mobile home. It's 3 bedroom.
I mean, it is.
4-car
No, it
garage.
is.
It's on 4.5, just over 4 acres as well. Not
They've
acres,
got
hectares.
hardwood floors in this thing.
Uh-huh. Is it a mobile home?
Crazy. Huh?
Is it a mobile home? It definitely looks like a mobile home on the outside, but I don't think it is. It might just be raised.
Hard to tell. Yeah.
Yeah. It just looks too deep to be something that would go on the road.
Yeah, you've been tricky with photography, though. I don't know.
True. I mean, what
Could be
what kind of a mobile place has a fireplace? Come on.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't see the fireplace. There's a fireplace?
There's a fireplace. Of course, they don't have any other kind. They don't have ducted heating.
Oh, it's a stove. Yeah. Oh no, you can do that. You can install a stove with a pipe. Yeah, no. That's not a fireplace. That's just a wood burning stove, right?
Same difference.
You can install that anywhere you want. Just put a hole in your roof, put the outtake through it, bam, done.
I didn't say it couldn't be done. I said show me a mobile home that has one.
That has one. Yeah, no, you're right. I don't think I've ever seen that before. So you make an excellent argument. Whatever. Anyway, how did we get there?
Tiny towns.
Tiny towns because
You need a new house.
jobs because hourly wages. That's what it was. Yeah. All right. Well, now we know.
And now you know.
Now we know what the smallest town in Australia is and what kind of real estate is available out there. The answer is something that looks like a mobile home, but probably isn't technically one.
And is also not in the same suburb that you looked for. It's like not the same area code. It's like there are nothing there, so here's something in the surrounding area.
Right. What do they say? 20 kilometers away or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny.
That's fun. All right. Okay. So there's that. What else do we have to talk about today? We gotta finish up the animes.
The animes.
We didn't do that last week. The
No.
Too Many Losing Heroines show.
It's true. That show is still going. Although
Is it? I thought it was over.
No,
How many episodes is it going to be?
12.
Oh crap. Okay.
Yeah. Although what I will say, episode 11, very final notes kind of an episode.
Oh. I was going to say that 10 feels kind of final notes as an episode.
And I did see somewhere on Reddit that maybe episode 12 is like a bonus episode that'll be original to the show and not from the source material.
Oh. Interesting.
So yeah. But yeah, 12 episodes.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, I watched through episode 10 then, and I was like, well, that was a nice 10-episode season of the show. How wonderful. What was I mistaken?
You are an episode behind.
Yes.
Okay.
When do these come out again?
Saturday, Friday for you, I think.
Okay. Man, I think I watched on Thursday too. Like I missed it by like a day. I totally would have seen it.
Oh.
Anyways, yeah. So I mean, effectively, what I saw was just the whole school fair. What do they call it again?
Subaki?
No, like just the whole concept of
Oh,
like everybody puts together a presentation.
like a culture
Yeah.
festival, that kind of thing.
Yeah, festival.
I
Yeah,
couldn't
that's the
remember the
word.
festival. Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't remember that word from it, but
Yeah. So all the clubs and all the classes all do a presentation or a stall of some sort, or in this case, plays. Uh,
yeah, sometimes it's plays. They just set up a classroom and put up some information about different foods from books and had examples of the foods, and
hmm
people
And
would come in and look at it and get food and leave. So I mean, it's not that complicated.
no, I mean they did have. It was vaguely more complicated. They had like a stamp collection thing where you had to visit 4 stalls to get stamps on like prove that you read a bit at each of the stalls, get the stamp, and then when you got all 4, you got a free sample, or you could if you're a child, or you could buy it if you're an adult.
Yeah. Although, what's his face protagonist was like, you got to get 4 stamps and then you get some food, and they just gave the kid some food, and I was like, but you just explained the rules and didn't make him do the rules.
Maybe they get food at every stamp, and then you got the stamp
Mm,
here, and you got some food. Yeah.
that would be. I mean, I would say okay to that if I was a kid. That sounds like a great system to me.
It's a good deal.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and then like Kumari burns herself out to the point she like collapses from exhaustion. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know that anything that happened there was particularly taxing. Like, I guess she was writing up all of the information about the food within the books and stuff. And I mean, typing stuff isn't crazy difficult. She's not like digging trenches, man.
She's not digging trenches, but like Japan has a big history of salarymen who all they're doing is sitting as an office for 12 hours, 16 hours a day, falling asleep
That's
on the
true.
train or going out drinking and sleeping in a park. I mean, sitting there just typing for hours and hours on end is draining, especially to someone who has to go all their other classes as well and probably borrow books for the munchkins, at the library. She has a lot
Right.
going on.
That's true. And
It's
I mean,
not
if you're not sleeping, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Eventually, that's going to catch up with you.
exactly,
So,
yeah.
yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. So anyway, she collapses, and everyone's like, "We'll pull together and do the rest of it, and she can rest." And then everyone works together. It's great. Power
Yeah.
of friendship, man.
The power of friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was honestly surprised there's only 2 Rugrats. Like the way she talked about the Rugrats, I thought there would be like 6.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Then there's a mini Kumari, and then there's a boy. That's it. And
That's
I'm
it.
like, all right. Again, we don't see any parents.
No.
Like, I still have some headcanon that she's, like, raising these kids so there's nobody else around.
Could be. I mean, there's no evidence to the contrary, so why not?
Does Japan allow that? Because a teacher goes in there and oh, okay. A normal teacher would be like, you're raising these kids alone? That's not okay. But it's Insane Teacher, so Insane Teacher probably doesn't give a shit.
There are several of the shows that I've watched where it's like, hi, I am a normal high school student. I live alone.
But are they also raising elementary school kids?
I don't see why that's outside the realms of possibilities.
Because a high schooler living on their own is like, okay, out of the ordinary. But a high school raising, again, like 6-year-olds is nuts. That's like way beyond out of the ordinary.
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't tell you that.
I don't know.
But the idea that a high schooler could be the person in charge of the house, or yeah, makes sense. That checks. The fact that there's kids there is not only a little extra work. I mean, kids aren't that hard to bring up. I mean,
That's funny.
I don't think she's raising the kids. I think there are parents there. Mainly,
I'm just saying, they made a very specific choice to not show us any indication that parents exist in that house.
right? But they also haven't showed us her dropping them off at school or anything like that, or getting them ready for their own school. Right?
That's true. That's true.
If she's raising them, she's very negligent.
I guess. Or, like, what if the parents or the parent just works all the time? Right? So not technically like providing for the kids, because I don't think Kumari has a job,
No.
right? So like maybe there's a parent who's like the paycheck comes in and that pays for the food and the rent and stuff, but like they're never there.
That's probably more believable, yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, they introduced Mini Komari, which is like again a choice. I don't know. Siblings do often look and act alike, so it's not again weird,
Sure,
but
sure.
totally catches our protagonist kind of by surprise.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, all of my thoughts are on like the last episode, and you haven't seen that yet, so.
that's true. Well, just talk about it anyway. We'll be fine.
Um, so Komari is still struggling with trying to do everything by herself when she gets better, and like is now just trying to be the lit club president. And Lukewarm Water is like, let me help. I can just do this for you, right? And she's
Yeah.
like, no, I have to do it. And she keeps trying, and he keeps like intervening and like just being like, I'll do it, and like in front of people and like making her feel like she can't do it. And she cries. They talk. He does it again. He's sorry. He does it again, and then the show ends with them all being friends and like sharing their feelings, obviously, and you know having a discussion about it.
So the old club he's gone, right? And
Yeah,
the vice president, they're gone.
I mean, they're still at the school, but they're not in the club.
Right, because
Yeah.
they're preparing for
For-
university, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, there's like cramming for entrance exams. Fun. Yeah, and they pull aside Lukewarm Water and they're like, look, man, you got to help Kumari. Like, that's your job. Got to help her with this because, again, she'll burn herself out. So that's why he's doing it. He's like, I have been tasked by my senpai to help
Right.
out.
Right.
And Kumari's like, I don't want help. And he's like, but it's my job. And yeah. So
Yeah.
that never gets resolved. He apologizes, does it again, apologizes, does it again, apologizes, does it again. And then they're like, whatever. I guess this is the new reality.
No, they talk about why she felt like she had to do it by herself, even if she wasn't doing a very good job, and even if it was better and made more sense for him to do it, that she felt she had to do it. And, like, because her senpai, the guy that she liked, like, trusted the lit club to her, and everyone else is just gonna leave like the senpais are. And she'll have lit club and nobody else, so she's got to be able to do it. Even if she's not doing a good job, she can't, like, give it to Lukewarm Water because eventually he'll not do this either, and then she'll have to do it and she won't be as prepared. Except she doesn't realize that everyone else in the lit club just isn't going anywhere. That's like the big
Yeah.
emotional thing.
Right.
Yeah. So they talk, they hug it out.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
That's good. Again, this show, which again features every female character being insane in some way, is also really emotionally intelligent and like works stuff out in really grown up ways. So I
Right.
don't know how they're pulling this off.
It's a mystery to me, to be honest.
That scene during the festival where Lukewarm Water and why don't I have Kumari's name? But I
Yamada?
don't have blue hair girl name.
Yanami?
Yanami. Right,
Just call her
Lukewarm
Anna.
Water. Like, oh yeah, that's easier.
Her name's Anna.
Right. So what is
Huh?
what's the other name?
Yanami?
Yeah.
Her family name.
Oh.
People
Fair
have more
enough.
than one name, Falcon, Paladin.
Yeah. No, I know. Whatever. So Anna.
Anna.
Yeah. It's funny when all of a sudden Lukewarm Water's like, hey, like looks like he's making a move on her like out of nowhere, and she's like, what is happening?
Like, we're being filmed. Don't say
Yeah.
or do anything.
Just he noticed that crazy nurse lady's got the door cracked open and is using a literal video camera to film these two students hanging out.
Uh-huh.
Because that's not incredibly creepy and terrible and wrong.
Oh, that's...
Nope. Totally normal adult behavior right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
Good grief.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
she's the worst, man.
she's the worst. But nothing's happening, so like
Yeah, but
nothing's
if it was
happening.
a male teacher, it'd be like, "You're fired, sir. You can't do this. You cannot talk about sex with the kids and film them without their permission. What is
I'm,
wrong with you?" And it's
I,
a female teacher, so it's like, meh, she's
well,
harmless.
the show is showing us that she's harmless by making nothing come of it. Um,
But if you swapped the genders
uh-huh. I will
and the
say,
actions are the same, and it's just a dude with a creepy pedo stash, like it'd be over for him. He'd
right,
be
big aviator
gone.
glasses. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is another show that I've seen where there's a character who is down, and one of the male teachers walks by and goes, "You know, I like the ladies with the smaller tits as well, so don't feel too bad." And then
Holy
just
shit.
leaves. And just leaves. So maybe it's a cultural thing that teachers can just be inappropriate with their students. I don't think it is.
I sincerely hope not.
I think that was just a show that had like a teacher who was being very inappropriate, and the students know he's inappropriate and just like ignoring him.
It's a character quirk. Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah.
We should do some
That's
studies. My brother's a teacher in an all girls school. I feel like I could ruin a man's career. Let's not put this to the test.
no.
No,
It's not.
no. But yeah, still one more episode to go.
Not sure what to expect from it, so that's interesting.
But then the new season cometh for the new season of anime. Because then they do seasonal releases.
Yeah, but there's usually a break. Like, what are we talking about?
Like they'll start in October 1st.
Dang. Okay, I thought there'd be a longer break than that.
No, it's like go go go. Yeah.
The animators are not allowed to have a break, so
No, of course not.
yeah. I don't know. Like, I like the show, but I don't expect anything to ever happen. Like,
Right.
like the biggest thing that happened in this entire season was
I don't mean season 2 is coming. I mean anime as a whole will go from summer to fall or whatever, and there'll be a whole new range of shows out.
Oh, I thought you meant season 2 would come out in October. I was like, dang. Okay.
No.
Yeah, I was confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, there will be no season. There will be 47 isekais that are all garbage. There will be a new attempt at some, new icon of anime girl fandom.
Okay.
They're gonna go for one of those, and maybe some of the stuff will be good. That's what I'm predicting.
That's what you're predicting? Okay. I'm just having a look through and seeing what's coming.
Okay.
There's a show called Demon Lord 2099.
Sounds really generic.
Then there's Demon Lord Retry R. It's two separate shows, no relation.
Holy smoke! What is with anime and demon lords? Where does this come from?
I have absolutely no idea.
All right.
The do-over damsel conquers the dragon emperor. Nope, not interested.
I don't know.
The most notorious talker in air quotes, runs the world's greatest clan.
Man, these are so boring sounding. Anime, fix it. We need some more creativity in here. Okay, fair enough.
The Prince of Tennis 2, the under 17 World Cup semifinal. That's it. That's it.
Awesome.
Yep.
There's not like a new Spy X family or anything.
Oh, I skipped over all the big stuff because.
Oh, okay, because that's
Yeah.
obvious.
Yeah. Like ReZero's getting a third season. Dragon Ball Daima is coming out. Blue Lock season 2. Shangri-La season 2. Tower of God continues. What else? Reincarnated as an aristocrat. I'll use my appraisal skill to rise in the world is getting a second season.
Tower of God has a season 2 coming out in this season?
It's continuing. It's continuing over autonomous seasons.
Nice.
So they're not taking a break. They're not splitting the
My
season.
daughter will be happy.
Good. Blue Exorcist is getting another season. That'll be kind of cool. I should go back and rewatch Blue Exorcist. Yeah. Sword Art Online, Alternative, Gun Gale Online. They have the word online twice in the title. It's great. It's getting a second season. And as a spin off, that show was actually pretty good. I think it's bearable by the absolute lack of any of the original characters. Yeah. Sword Art Online.
I mean, works for me.
Yeah, so give that a go if you're interested. Watch that one.
Amazing. All right. Is it Warhammer time now?
I think it's Warhammer time.
Okay, good.
It's Warhammer. What did we read this time, Falcon?
We read a book. I am really bad with the titles every time. This one is called Tallarn. Tallarn.
Tallarn.
Yeah.
It is an anthology by John French, who wrote all of the books in it.
Gotcha. Wait, it's an anthology?
Yeah. You didn't notice that there were 4 books in it? One of them is much bigger than the others.
They loop in and out of each other.
Sort of.
No, they really do. Maybe this is something different.
Oh.
Because I think anthology. I think story. Beginning of story, end of story, next story, beginning of story, end of story. And this is like introduce you to this story, introduce you to this story, introduce you to this story, come back to story A, go to story B, go to story C, go to B, and like it's like a regular book.
Maybe we've read different things, because my one, I feel like the first story, which I don't know actually know if it's the first one. I think it's Siren. It's the one where there's one astropath left alive in a bunker, and they're like, yeah, they never come back to that. That's just like,
no, they sure do in my book.
When? Did I miss something?
They introduce the dudes that are trapped in the bunker.
Yeah.
And then they go do other stuff and introduce other characters, and then they come back to it and finish it. Maybe this version of the book does a different thing, interweaving the stories.
Maybe.
I
don't know. I felt like
in the end, I don't think it really matters.
I feel like that story, it was like, hey, they're in a bunker. There's a guy who's in there for tax evasion, but he's like an ex-soldier. He convinces them to go out with like a jeep or whatever and be like, call for help. Then it cuts to some other people who are like, oh, we heard the signal. We only care because they have a astropath, but the Iron Warriors will have heard that too. And then they go and like force them to send a message before the Iron Warriors can kill them. And that's the end of that story. Like, it's all very...
That is the end of that story, but...
They never interweave that back into anything else, other than, like, the reference that the Sapphire City fell or something.
Alright, whatever. It doesn't matter, I guess, is my whole point here.
Okay.
No? I don't think it matters. Because the stories are the stories, right? And the characters are the characters. What happens, happens.
Sure, yeah. I guess.
I'm not going to worry about it then.
Okay, so which of the 4 stories was your favorite?
Ha!
Because that's how I've got them arranged in my mind.
Okay. I like the one with the operative agent.
Oh, the one with the assassin?
Yeah.
That one is by far the biggest one. I think that one's called Ironclad. And it's got this Clade Vanis, who's like one of the computer hacky assassins who like organizes everything from the shadows. Ooh, I just heard myself through your speakers.
Yeah.
Oh, your mic's wrong.
And we're back. Okay.
Cable issue?
Uh-huh.
Great. Yeah. So she is infiltrated this planet and is on like an unrestricted license to just do whatever she sees fit. And like she
Yep.
talks about like, oh, I let an entire city catch the plague and die. I'm like, cool. Your mic's still having issues.
Yes, but
Okay.
I think we're good now.
All right.
Sorry.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and so they don't really tell you what she's doing exactly at first.
No.
And then it becomes eventually clear that it really seems like her entire job on Tallarn is to keep this warp infested weapon of something ancient, blah, 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 warp fucked stuff
Mm-hmm.
from anybody getting it.
Right.
Like, it needs to stay on Tallarn, and nobody gets to have this thing because, for obvious reasons.
Right. For reasons that should be self-evident.
Right. If
Yeah.
you read the Horus Heresy, you understand. They don't really have to spell it out.
No.
But they don't do it for a while. Like, she's really just, she calls them her flies. I guess they're little
The net flies.
net flies. Yeah. They just collect information for her throughout networks and
Mm-hmm.
listen to conversations and record video and gives her all of this data that then she interprets and tries to figure out big picture stuff. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Then the Alpha Legion figures out that she's there because it's the Alpha Legion.
Right. The Alpha Legion kind of just know things because they're the Alpha Legion. Like, you don't need to write a plausible reason for why they are secretly able to just know where she is or what she does. It's the Alpha Legion. They're the masters at this kind of stuff. Obviously, they know.
Right. And
Yep.
like they know about the weapon on Tallarn because obviously they
They
know.
know. Right. If someone else knows, the Alpha Legion probably also knows.
Exactly.
They're the ultimate spy network of people who literally couldn't hide in plain sight because they're 8 feet tall in power armor.
Yeah. Although there is a time when they try to hunt down the operative, the assassin,
Mm-hmm.
and she specifically says they're wearing like lighter armor.
They're wearing the scout armor or whatever. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
not power assisted, but it's much more quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That was kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought her perspective was interesting. The way that she came up with plans, the way she dealt with getting discovered, the way she'd escape.
I Yeah, I really liked her. I don't know if it was her mind breaking, but she kept getting stuck in this like training lesson with her old mentor, who would be like, "Let's do a thought exercise about how you should think about your plans." And she says, most people in the clade don't do these strictly anymore. They're just to like get your mind into a mindset, and then you can just kind of work as expected. But she's there running the entire drill, and getting stuck in it, and like she's contorted herself into like a ball in an air vent, and all she can hear is like her old master's evil smile, being like, theoretical, practical, yeah, basically.
Well, not that exactly, but yeah.
Not
that's the
exactly,
idea.
but that's the idea.
Yeah.
So I really like that about it.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed the army commander of the Silence, who like had been sat around on the planet for so long with nothing to do. He basically formed a crime ring of getting people things and like extorting them, and like I really enjoyed all of that setup. And it, like, I like the army that's just had to sit around, that for all of like the natives being like, oh man, the Imperium just kind of moved on. We're not on a staging post for the Great Crusade anymore. But there's just tons of army dudes who are like, yeah, I guess we just got left behind. And it's like, okay, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of you. They talk about tank engagements with like the thousands of machines.
Yeah.
You know?
And so like they're at this some state of readiness
Mm-hmm.
because they technically could get called up to go somewhere and
Right.
fight,
They
but they
could.
haven't for years and years and years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah. So some context I kind of wish I had at the start of the book.
oh. Okay.
In the afterword,
Oh, yes. Do tell.
our author goes 10 million tanks. Are you
Oh.
familiar with this?
No, I didn't get the afterword.
In many ways, it's a phrase I wish I had never said out loud. It was at one of the Horus Heresy weekenders. I was on a panel talking about the next book, and I said something like, the Battle of Tallarn was big, really big. It took a year, and there were 10 million tanks involved. 10 million tanks. And within an hour, it was a Twitter hashtag. And 4 years later, it still crops up when people talk about Tallarn and the Horus Heresy. So he basically, out of nowhere,
Where? Yeah.
is just like, Tallarn, it was awesome. There were
10
10
million
million tanks. And everyone's like, 10 million tanks? That's insane.
Uh-huh.
And then he's like, but then I actually looked at armored engagement history, and that makes no sense at all. So I didn't do it. Like,
Right.
sorry, everyone who was waiting for there to be 10 million tanks in this story. But no, it didn't happen.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I just googled how many tanks did Russia have in World War II, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was 23,000. Which is a
Right.
lot of tanks, but it's not 10 million tanks.
No, it's like 0.04% of 10 million tanks. Like, it is tiny, tiny, tiny drop in a bucket.
Yeah.
And it lasted a year. So yeah, so obviously we get I mean,
We have a lot of tanks.
we do get a lot of tanks, and we get a protracted war, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That was really interesting too, because the Iron Warriors show up and virus bomb the planet,
Yeah.
which is like, holy, just that's the opening salvo. Okay.
Like, because like, and that normally that is it. That's a virus bomb. You've just committed exterminatus. There's literally no
Yeah.
life left on the surface of this planet. But it just so happens Tallarn is riddled with bunker complexes.
Right.
And I
And
was
I'm like, so just like Calth is what you're saying. Uh-huh.
yeah, kind of like Calth, except
Yeah.
virus bombs instead of a poison sun.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading through the Lexicanum on this, and apparently somewhere around like 1 billion people were in bunkers by the fall of the virus bombs.
That
That's
is
a lot.
that seems unlikely.
But it is 40K.
How many people were on Tallarn, period? Like, what percentage of the population was that got into bunkers?
I don't know.
Doesn't say.
Doesn't say. Yeah. I'm really looking for where I've read that, and I'm wondering if it was just on a Reddit post.
Because I guess if there's like 20 billion people on Tallarn,
Right.
that 1 billion of them managed to make it to the bunkers, like, is like, okay, I guess.
Yeah. Billions of citizens, it says, had lived there. I just searched for the word billion and I found it. While the vast majority of Tallarn died, nearly 1 billion people managed to reach underground shelter networks.
Right.
So that's a lot, but
No real numbers there, but yeah, fair enough.
yeah. And I'm obviously not all of those are people who are military, you know. There's one of the books has a lot of like emphasis on like, oh, we've got scouts from the local population who are going to be our navigators basically because it's a dust cloud out there.
Yeah.
And then that turns out pretty bad for them when they give command of is he in command of a tank or is he the gunner of one of the tanks? I don't remember. This guy who's like his kids. They're like, oh, we've got your kids. They made it to a bunker. If you want to see them again, all you have to do is when you hear the word liberation, was it? I think.
Yeah.
You just have to
Something like that.
You just have to kill your crew and let the line pass. And it's like, oh, please no, don't be an alpha agent operative. Please no.
Too late.
Too late.
Too late.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's a whole story that the Alpha Legion has just been on Tallarn for a long time during the Heresy, trying to turn the population towards Horus. And then the Iron Warriors show up and virus bomb the thing. It's like,
Right.
well,
Well,
we'll make the best of it, I guess. We'll try to turn who's left into something that Horus can conquer, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. So yeah, but then the larger point of the story is that why are the Iron Warriors still here?
Right.
Because
Because
they
the.
take Tallarn out of the fight. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
done. Yeah, there's
Mm-hmm.
people in bunkers. They can't do
They,
anything.
they don't have ships. They can't
Right.
leave. They barely have radio to each other, let alone to the orbit. You know.
Yeah, they're not going to produce any more tanks or weapons for the loyal Marines. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
They're out. They're done. And
Yep.
yet, they're still there. They're still controlling the orbit.
Mm-hmm.
They're still sending troops down. And so the survivors of Tallarn are like, I guess we fight them.
Yeah.
Vengeance.
Yeah. We.
They're here. They killed all of us.
Right.
Let's kill them back.
We can't hurt them at Terra, so we hurt them now and like save people at Terra. I guess. It's.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Like every Iron Warrior we kill here helps the war effort. So
Mm-hmm.
good for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there is a tank commander, there is a battalion commander who's like, there's something else going on here. Why are
Right.
they still here? What do
Right.
they want? What are they doing? And to everybody else, it's like it doesn't matter. They
Mm-hmm.
killed us. They're here. Let's kill them. But he can't let this go.
Right.
He's like, there has to be something else why they killed us and why they're here at all.
Mm-hmm.
And why they're still here, especially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then his story basically intersects with a couple other stories, I guess, to get to the point that there is this ancient warp touched weapon of some kind buried under the surface of
Right.
Tallarn in the desert. Yeah.
Yeah. That the Iron Legion, Iron Warriors are looking for. Um, and then so there's Argonas, and he's like the emissary to the War Master, and he's
Mm-hmm.
like trying to figure out why Perturabo's here, and Perturabo doesn't want to tell him. He's like, "Oh no, please, just trust me. It's for the War Master, I promise." And he's like, "Yeah, but you're sucking in a lot of resources, so there's kind of an urgency to move on.
Mm-hmm.
Like they want the Iron Warriors to like pack up and go, and they're not doing it. So those two stories are just like coming to the same point from the other directions.
Yep.
Yeah. So did you like this book? Like, did you like the overall story there? Because I really liked a lot of the little stuff. Like,
Uh-huh.
I liked every time they were like, all right, we just got back into our bunker and we're going out, and I gotta go and find my crew member who's just broken down, sobbing, and is probably drinking, because, if you run out of air or fuel, you're just gonna like die up there. There's no way to rescue you, and it's like very claustrophobic being sealed into their tanks. I loved all of the little stuff like that, and the one guy who couldn't just could not wait to get his suit off and did it in the decontamination zone and like turned to soup, you know.
Right. Right.
I loved all that stuff. I'm not sure I really cared for the greater story at play. Like I wanted more just like human bits. Like
Yep.
the first story only has a couple of Space Marines in it, and only like one directly, right? Like one with a name. You could have done an entire Talon book with no Space Marines, and I would have read the entire thing, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I got that feeling because towards the end of the book where it becomes clear what's going on big picture,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, okay, another
It's,
warp touch weapon of some kind.
it's not a
And
super weapon.
they don't even get it.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Horus is like, Perturabo, you're done. And Perturabo's like, peace, I'm out. And they leave. The end. And it's like, okay. So this is the story of how the Iron Warriors looked for a weapon, did not acquire said weapon, and went home.
Right.
Boo. But yeah, all the individual stuff with the characters and like them trying to survive and trying to fight back against this great evil, like that's really interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked all that stuff more for sure.
Mm. Yeah.
Because that's what most of the first 3/4 of the book is
Right.
just survival and what do we do now?
Mm-hmm. This feels like it was a book. Well, I mean, it was 4 books, right? If we go back to that were written over a couple of years, right? Because I did look at these. Some of these were written in 2013, 2016, or anywhere in between, right?
Oh wow, okay, yeah.
So it feels like he had 3 short stories where it was like, hey, I've written some really great stuff as the Horus Heresy as a setting, just some local war is awful human stories. And like, great, we want to make that into a main book, but you need to make sure Primarchs are involved somehow. And they're like, okay, I guess I'll add a super weapon in here, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess it is kind of interesting the Perturabo Horus discussion that they have,
Mm.
where Perturabo's like, look, man, these dark warp forces that you're working with are going to betray us and kill us
Right.
all.
Right.
And we need a way to defeat them when that happens. He says we need to have a sword above them
Mm-hmm.
so when they come after us, we can take them out.
Yeah.
We don't really see Horus's response,
It's,
but Perturabo leaves, so I assume Horus won out.
right. Right.
Yeah.
I I am wondering how much of the War of Tallarn has actually been told in other places now, because
Mm.
obviously the codexes exists and like Imperial armor books, and sometimes they'll have like little bits and pieces for stories like this. And
Yeah.
so I'm wondering how much of the rest of the story is there, not in this, you know, because they do
Right.
just leave, but like there wasn't anything like there weren't any
Yeah.
forces in the system that made retreating difficult. Or the Golden
Right,
Fleet doing anything?
because we didn't even talk about this. A rogue trader shows up
Uh huh.
that was in some outer system far, far, far away that got, I guess, called home to help with the war effort.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this rogue trader that's like, sweet, let's kick some ass,
Right.
and like totally turns the tide of this whole thing on Tallarn.
Mm.
Um,
Has a really great little like double agent moment where they're like, "Yeah, Iron Warriors, we're here to help, buddies," and then they like, "All right, sweet, thanks for being a protective detail as we come into system and fire."
yeah, and then
Yeah.
as they get in there and they kill them all, and then yeah, like destroy several capital ships, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, so this is what we're doing. Yeah, and it's kind of cool. Like, there's a little tiny bit of like explanation of how they're so good at fighting. It's like, well, we lost several ships to fighting this Xeno species
Mm.
out in the far reaches over 3 years. So like, we're battle hardened. Like, we weren't just tooling around, you know,
Mm-hmm.
taking it easy for the last however many years we've been out there. Like, we've been fighting hard. So
Yeah.
this is something we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so Perturabo extricating himself from the planet should have maybe been a bit more difficult, but
Mm.
for story purposes, he left,
He
so I'm
left.
okay with it.
Yeah, he left. They let him leave.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And the emissary of Horus pulls the whole using an astropath to project your person
Mm.
over any distance, immediate, like face-to-face conversation type stuff, which we've seen in
We've
previous books in the Horus Heresy.
Yeah, yeah. Which I had
Yeah.
forgotten that that's what the those like special astropods could do that Horus had made, and then it happened. I'm like, oh, I totally remember this being in one of the other books. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Um.
mean, it's this like terrible, disgusting, like tearing apart a human being
Me.
method of communication.
Communication.
But hey,
Hey.
that's what
Sometimes
Horse
need
is
must.
into these days. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. So that was cool. There's a Dreadnought that gets a story.
yeah, yeah. Contempt. I had the name. Friend. He was apparently um, companioning a corrupted navigator when the Iron Warriors all went into the Eye of Terror. All the navigators got corrupted, and they could see the Black Oculus device, so he had to like search the planet for with them to like find this thing. Is that basically what he was doing?
Yeah. I mean, basically, Perturabo's like, I've sent several forces out to try to find this weapon that we know is here, and they keep not coming back. Which, Alpha Legion shit. But
Right.
he doesn't know
Love
that
that.
because Alpha Legion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's like, Dreadnought, your turn. Like, go out there. I need you to find this weapon. You're probably going to die because everybody else has that I've sent on this job.
Right.
Yeah. And then, yeah, like on the way out, Alpha Legion's like, sup? How you guys doing? We're just out here on routine patrols.
No.
You want some escort? We can help you get through the dust storms.
Doesn't sound
Freaking
suspicious.
Alpha Legion, man. Yeah.
They
And then the Dreadnought kind of figures out what's going on, kills the Alpha Legion, makes it to the place where the weapon is, and is straight up like offered
chaos
general
power.
power, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, chaos power for the Legion,
I
and
think.
rejects it. He's
Yeah.
like, no, we're good. Iron within, iron without. We're
Right.
awesome already.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I complained that the salamanders were too much like their 40k counterpart.
Mm.
But I think the Iron Warriors probably do pretty well with that because, like, the idea that they'll be what they need to be and they're unbroken and, like, they're specifically unchanging, that they just have this belief that they are superior and able to resist warp corruption at every turn is something that continues on to 40k. Like, even up to the point where when they get, like, a mutated arm or whatever, they're just like, lop that thing off. They actively resist gifts from chaos, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's good.
So I think they benefit here from being very similar to their 40k counterpart.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Then yeah, it makes sense for our Dreadnought to reject the offer because Perturabo's rejecting the offer. He doesn't want it either.
He sure is at the minute, isn't he?
At the moment, yep.
He
As of this book.
He definitely doesn't become a demon prince in another book that hasn't been written yet.
Nope,
So nobody
not even once.
Nobody knows why he became a demon prince. He just at some point decided to be.
Wait, are you serious? So they're like, in 40k, Perturabo's a demon prince. Let's write the Horus Heresy to explain what happens during the Horus Heresy. And at no point are like, maybe we should talk about Perturabo becoming a demon prince.
We all know where and when it happens. Like there's like a footnote in a codex somewhere where it happens at Hydra Caudatus.
Yeah, which is what a lot of stuff in the Horus Heresy was at first. It was a footnote in something.
Right.
And then they blew it out, because that's the whole point.
The problem is it happens with him after the Horus Heresy.
Oh.
It doesn't happen at Hydra Caudatus. It happens at the Cage of Iron, which is as they're fleeing from Terra. Very different. That's not the Horus Heresy, so I haven't written that yet.
It's outside of the chronological constraints of what we're writing right now.
Yeah.
Technically. So, oh my gosh, that's incredible. Have they talked about writing it? Or they're just like, maybe one day?
I don't know. I don't think they talk about books that are upcoming until like they're ready for being advertised, you know?
Yeah.
Marketed.
Well, because like Fulgrim becoming a demon prince, like you don't necessarily have to write that story because we get a ton of books where he's like super into this stuff. They could have just been like, and then Fulgrim was a demon prince. You know what happened? We're like, yeah, we get it. We know what happened. But for Perturabo to go from like the warp is going to betray us all, we have to have weapons to fight them, to demon prince is a jump.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
No, I'm not necessarily disagreeing. I think you do need, like, if you're gonna make a big story, a big epic about all of the Primarchs, and one of them has a life-changing moment, like becoming a demon prince, you should write that story. Even if it is very obvious why Fulgrim's like, damn, Slanesh wants to get in my pants. Sure, I'll let him into my gene code. Why not?
Right. I'm not saying we shouldn't have gotten Fulgrim's story, but I'm saying if we're doing Fulgrim's story, we definitely should do Perturabo's story.
Right. They should do everyone's story. They shouldn't leave anyone out.
Yeah.
But nope, we don't have that book. We don't have that book.
Like Gulliman doesn't even get anything like that. He's just Gulliman the whole time, and he gets books.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. None of the loyal Primarchs go through any transformations like that. Except for maybe Vulcan, if you consider Rebirth a bunch of times a kind of transformation.
Yeah, right?
So, like, none of the loyal Primarchs get a story where they transform.
Right.
But, yeah, Gulliman does get, like, 7 books, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Like, take one of the Gulliman books that you wrote and give it to Perturabo and talk about what the hell happened to him. That's all I want.
I mean, I can give you the gist of it if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
So while they were fleeing Terra, and then the Great Scouring happened, which is where the loyalists, now having saved Terra, then basically reconquer the galaxy again, but this time they're just pushing out Horus's remnants, like all of his forces, all the traitor legions. They push them all out into the Eye of Terror. The Iron Warriors find a planet. I don't remember what it's called. Probably Hydrocaudatus. That's what's in my mind.
Sure.
And they set up a trap called the Ring of Iron or the Iron Cage or something like that. Something of iron. It's always iron with these people. And they trap and kill so many of the Imperial Fists, Rogal Dawn's kids, who are like the people who have a vendetta against the Thousand Sons. And
Right.
like much of the Horus Heresy, the Siege of Terra is Perturabo being given command of all the traitor legions to fight Rogal Dawn, who has a handful at Terra and the palace.
Because
And
that's
so,
what Portoromo does, right?
right, so it's like a big rematch for them, and Perturabo wipes the floor with him to the point where like the Imperial Fists aren't able to engage on any meaningful military level for like a decade, right? Like that's
Yeah.
how like depleted they are after it. And at some point during that, he accepts the gifts of Chaos Undivided and becomes a Demon Prince.
Okie doke.
Yep. That's it. That's the gist.
I mean, he's not even necessarily one of those Primarchs that really cares about his sons, right?
I don't think so. I think they're
I
very
don't
much
either,
a.
because that'd be a way, right? You're like, you don't trust us, but to save your sons,
Mhm.
accept this gift, and it's like, okay, but I don't think you would do that.
No, no, I don't. I don't think it's really his jam. They're very much like coin for him to spend. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
which is
so
really funny because that's how he feels about his relationship with the Emperor, and
that
he's mad about it.
right. Wow, Todoroki's a hypocrite. What a hot take.
We all become our parents. Hooray!
Oh,
That's funny. I do want to bring up, just back to the book real quick.
okay.
When Cord, the tax dodger who's
Mhm.
out there,
Mhm.
wait, no, he's not the tax dodger. The tank commander
Tank commander. Yeah,
who
yeah, yeah.
who believes there's a reason the Iron Warriors are still there.
Right.
He gets escorted by the Alpha Legion out there to see what's going on,
Mhm.
and he says the storm is spreading. Like there's this vortex where this weapon is.
Right.
Says the storm is spreading outwards, increasing in strength. This is an eater, bigger than I've ever heard tell of. Anything that goes in there is unlikely to come out. And the Alpha Legion guy goes, "You spent the lives of almost all of those under your command to come this far. You had the strength to spend their lives, but not your own." Just like, you
Like,
dick.
so I don't think that was an Alpha Legion. That was an Iron Hands guy. Yeah.
Oh, they got picked up. I'm getting all of them
They get
confused.
picked up by the 10th, which is the Iron Hands.
You're right. It is a remnant of the Iron Hand.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes.
Yeah.
So then So he basically
Yeah, yeah.
says
But
that,
same
and I'm
deal.
like,
Same
that's a
deal.
great point
Oh, yeah.
because he does. He like, there's something else out there. If you believe in me, follow me. And they're like, we believe in you. Let's go. And then they all get their asses kicked, and all of them die.
Mm-hmm.
And then it comes down to it, and he's like, oh, I don't know if I want to go this far. And he's like, look, man, you've already killed so many people to get here. Might as well just
Right.
go the rest of the way yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an excellent point.
Yeah. I just really enjoyed that line.
It was good.
So I highlighted it. Yeah. And then so then the assassin, she basically sets it up to where she dies, but
Mm-hmm.
she ensured that nobody alive knows about this weapon.
Mm.
And that Perturabo leaves and stops looking for it.
Yeah, yeah.
That was her entire goal, and she pulls it off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So technically, Loyalist victory at the end is like, and then a message rang out through the warp, Loyalist victory, and I'm like, they virus bombed a planet. Like, you lost already ages ago. Like, this was Perturabo fucking about for no reason. I don't think you get to claim victory, but it's the Imperial propaganda machine, I suppose.
It was him fucking about for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not the reason Perturabo left. Like, yeah, they marshaled all their forces and they fought on these plains. And they were like, this is the strength of Tallarn. We're going to beat you. And then, yep, coincidentally, Perturabo left about that time, but you did not make him leave.
Right.
But they don't know that, right?
Right.
So sure, it looks like they won. I would take it too. It's confusing because there's really no reason that should have happened as far as they're concerned.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny. Anywho's. All right. So yeah, overall good.
Good. Good two thumbs up.
Further back you get from it, and the more of a bird's eye view you get of the whole thing, it's like. But the individual pieces are really good. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So that brings us to what we're reading next.
Mm.
Which, I mean, I think we're just going straight for Terror at this point. So Titan
I think
Death.
we are. Titan Horus Heresy, book 53.
By Guy Haley.
Yay, Guy Haley's back.
Mm-hmm.
This has 4.5 stars on Amazon.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Prepare for lots of Titans, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What? They're like, buy the next 2 for $20 or buy 1 for 10. And it's like, what are you offering me, Amazon?
That's funny.
They're like, check out this deal. It's like, that's not a deal.
I'm not sure you know the meaning of the word deal.
No. That's so weird. All right. Use Amazon points. Let's go. And earn 30 points towards $3 off at some point later.
Wow.
Amazing.
Excellent.
I don't want the audiobook, but thanks for offering anyway.
It'll probably be pretty good, though.
Yeah, I'm going to do audiobooks. Too slow.
Put it on ×2 speed. That's too fast.
That is pretty fast. I can 1.5 some stuff on YouTube, but 2 is like...
I don't mess with the speed of anything on YouTube. I just 1.0 will bust.
So there's a guy who's playing every Nintendo 64 game all the way through. And he talks kind of at like 3/4 speed, like this. So I bump him up and then he talks normal.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's really specific to certain creators.
Certain people, yeah.
I don't do it to everybody. No, definitely not.
No.
Yeah. And then sometimes the video loads up and it's at regular speed, and I'm like, oh, right. This is why I do this.
That's funny.
Good stuff.
One day he'll be like, oh, I guess people find this a little slow. I'll bump up my own thing. Like, I'll export it at 1.1 or something, and then you'll put it to, like, 1.25, and I'll be like, too fast, but only, like, just, and not enough that you can actually fix it with anything. Because you only get those standard rates. It's 1.1. It's a 1.0 or 1.25 and nothing in between.
Right.
For YouTube. Whereas Audible lets you do in measurements of 0.5. It's great.
That's awesome. Good job.
0.05.
Good job, Audible.
I hear kids yelling.
Mm-hmm.
And they play in Pokemon.
No, I think they're back on Fortnite. Yeah.
Fair enough.
There are so many characters you can play as Fortnite these days. Holy crap.
Are they characters or are they skins of characters? Okay, so they don't have stats or anything.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing has stats in Fortnite. Everybody has the same stats. And then you find weapons and better weapons. It's all gear-based.
Okay. Those gears have stats? Or is it just how many gears you have? Is it a Clockwork game? You say gears, I think Clockwork.
Gear. Guns. Backpacks. Grenades. Yes.
Just ignore the bad jokes.
That's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it's like he's playing Peter Griffin, and like my daughter's this cat in a mech suit of some kind.
Okay.
And then my son's playing Mystique from the X-Men. I don't know, man. It's all over the place. The
Sure.
roster's ginormous.
It,
Yeah. It's how they
it,
stay relevant, I guess. They just
it's the
keep
perpetual
licensing
soup
new.
of games. It's like it's the
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it is. They just keep dumping new stuff into it
Yeah.
day after day, year after year.
I remember reading about Fortnite in a magazine when Epic started making it at the same time that they were making Gears of War 2, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was in high school and it was a base. I don't even know if it was base building. It was just like a zombie survival game.
Yeah. No,
And,
that's what it was.
yeah, and you can't even play that now. Like it's gone from the game. I think. I don't think that mode
That
exists anymore. They cut it out.
that totally sucks. But I don't think anybody was playing it.
Oh no, probably not.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a podcaster that I listened to back then when it came out that was like, I love the zombie survival mode. I play it all the time. But then I talk to people about Fortnite and they're like, yeah, like the Battle Royale. And she's like, no.
No.
I always thought that was funny because, man, she played that for a couple years. She's probably bummed that it's gone now.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So it came out for early access in 2017. So yeah, it's been a minute.
And to put it into perspective, when I was reading it in this magazine, I graduated high school in 2011, 2012, and I was reading it at my first high school, so 2009 was like when they were first talking about it.
That's
Yeah.
really far in advance of early access. Wasn't until 17.
Yeah. I think early access was the Battle Royale mode, wasn't it? Like, PUBG took off and they were like, hey, we could do that. And then they did early access. No, Aki, I don't remember the year I graduated. I spent a lot of the time of my graduation on painkillers for my leg surgery, and I don't remember what year that was. I could work it out. I just don't care. It's not really relevant.
Ugh. All right. Time to
Wrap it up.
time to wrap it up. So good stuff. We'll be back with more, as always, next week. But for now, this has been I don't know. What episode are we on here? What does the title say?
This was episode
339.
Yeah, 339.
Hot dang. That is a lot. That's a lot of episodes.
We're coming up on 7 years.
Dang.
Yeah.
Good stuff. But yeah, you can support the podcast by watching it here at twitch.tv/Somicron every week, or the VODs end up on youtube.com/Somicron as well pretty soon after the podcast ends. And also by buying merch at falconpaladin.store or by pledging on a monthly basis at patreon.com/Somicron. So check those things out. Thanks again for hanging out with us if you did and watching. And until next week, you take care of yourselves.
Bye.